Today I am celebrating the Day of the International Pianist, which is a day I'm delighted to participate in, honouring this instrument which I myself have loved greatly through much of my life. The first time I got to tinkle on a piano was probably when I was about 8, and for many years, any time I have found a piano that I could go and play with for a while, I have loved it. Um, it's funny because there is not an enormous amount of piano music that I listen to frequently. In fact, probably the most commonly listened to that I've had over the years is the piano music of Harold Budd, and which is frequently, and Roger Eno through the Brian Eno Ambient series, because I really love the spaciousness of a very quiet piano, and obviously this has been somewhat emulated, or at least a pattern that has been repeated by Ludovico Einaudi in recent years, and it's all very much in the vein of what was originally created. Oh, who was it? My mother used to play him. His name has just flown away. Debussy. So I haven't been, well, until a few years ago, I hadn't been to see many piano performances. The first one I went to was when a friend bought me a ticket to Brighton Dome to go and see Radu Lupu, who was a pianist who was famous. And I remember being told that he can get sounds out of a piano that nobody else can, which I thought was an utterly bizarre thing to say, because a piano is just a series of keys. How could one press keys in such a way that nobody else could press them? And I must admit that I don't know if I deceived myself, but certainly that night in that concert, I had the impression that he did indeed make sounds that I'd never heard on a piano. Now, in recent years, that has taken all sorts of forms by people placing things on the strings of the piano underneath the lid and being able to get crazy sound, placing chains and bells and other found objects, and I've really loved seeing what people like John Hopkins and Olafur Arnalds and who's that other contemporary hypnotic spacious ambient composers have been doing with the piano. For me, they all very much evoke that sense of being able to be quiet in a room and playing, seeing where one note leads to another. It's just such an incredible instrument. The tonal qualities of a piano are just a joy, and I suppose unlike a lot of string instruments and brass instruments, there's a certain ability to rely on the note that comes out. You know, it doesn't require so much skill of the embouchure or the way that one holds a string instrument to make sure that the note comes through clear. So it kind of suits someone who's a raw beginner, at least in being able to make some relatively pleasant noises, at least if one learns which notes to avoid. So today I'm taking a moment to celebrate the piano and, of course, the International Pianist. Exactly what that means, I don't know. There are certainly pianists that go all over. I was very blessed in Brighton to discover a series of lunchtime concerts which take about an hour's time, usually around midday, as the name might convey. And I got to see in a load of churches around Brighton every week, every day. There were beautiful recitals to participate in. And so it doesn't require someone to be a concert pianist, even though many of them were, to be able to create a thoroughly enchanting and commanding experience of musical theatre. So taking a moment today to give thanks for this incredible instrument, an absolute feat of engineering, a moment to give thanks for all the thousands, the millions of hours spent practicing by pianists to be able to render dots on a page into a living, breathing art form that can carry our hearts and our minds for hours on end. It really is a miracle of human accomplishment. So, a moment of thanks for pianos and pianists.